Hi, I'm Pastor Bryan Threlkeld, and I'd like to welcome you to my new video series, Bible Mysteries, Solved in 7 minutes or less, where my goal is to take tough passages of Scripture and explain them to you in 7 minutes or less. You know, one of the most brilliant theologians I've ever known, he once told me that if a person cannot quickly and succinctly explain their interpretation of a particular passage in the Bible, then they probably don't have it clearly defined in their own mind in the first place. And that's always stuck with me. So with that as kind of a backdrop, I decided to launch this video series where I take challenging passages of Scripture, verses that often lead people to scratch their heads, and I explain their meaning in 7 minutes or less. You know, maybe you've heard people talk about this unpardonable sin and you've wondered, well, what is that all about? Am I guilty of that? Have I been guilty of that? Could I be guilty of that? Or maybe you've heard that Jesus was born of, begotten of God, but you've also been told that he is God. Okay, how is that possible? Well, those are the kinds of mysterious Bible passages I will be covering in this series. Now, this is not to say that I will exhaustively cover every possible interpretation of a passage within that time frame. After all, there are literally entire books written about a single verse in the Bible. But what I am saying is that I believe any of these mysterious passages in Scripture can be explained clearly and succinctly in 7 minutes or less. Now, as with all my teaching, my goal is ultimately to get you to think for yourself. I'm going to give you my take on these passages, but I encourage you to dive deeper into each one of these on your own. In fact, the Bible commends individuals who don't just believe what someone else says, but they study the Bible for themselves. Listen to what Luke wrote in Acts 17:11. He said, "Now the Berean Jews were of more noble character than those in Thessalonica, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the Scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true." So be like the Bereans. And if you have lingering questions, dive deeper into the text on your own. And as always, feel free to reach out to me at True Grace Ministries if you have further questions about these passages I cover, or maybe you'd like me to cover a different Bible passage. Our email is on our website, truegrace.online. I'm Pastor Bryan Threlkeld, and I hope you enjoy this series.